Alright, what's going on guys? It's Liam here and welcome back to another video on the channel. And in today's video, I want to talk about the recent KingsIsle live that went over on at Twitch. Obviously, now this one was unique because we actually had a sanctioned PvP match between Kermit, the trap stacker, and Bandit, the player trying to defend and counter the trap stack, right? So this is basically a test for the developers to see what happens if everybody can pull the card they want. So both Bandit and Kermit were able to pull the exact cards they wanted. They're like basically get it like summoned into their hand and then they could play it every round, essentially, is how it was to my understanding. So it was impossible to deck fill pretty much from my understanding of things. So a lot of people are kind of upset about this, including myself to an extent. I personally just thought it was freaking hilarious. Like I really like the idea. I like the concept. I think a lot of people are on that page, right? More communication, helping the devs understand the game. I think that's good, right? I like that they're trying. However, things did not pan out as we thought it would, right? So, let's talk about, well, the developers, right? So we had Ratbeard, Cam, Artie, I think like Claire or something, or Calamity. I don't know what her name is. But, oh, and Kyle, the community manager. So we had a lot of people there. They're spectating, they're asking questions and stuff like that about why you're doing certain moves. And Kermit and Bandit were obviously explaining their moves to the best of the ability to the devs as to why they're making certain moves. Right. Now, real quick on that point, I do want to say it probably would have been smarter to get, someone that PvPs every day, like, Sauce, myself, because we are more accustomed to doing that and explaining our moves in a quicker manner. Again, I'm not trying to say Kermit and Bandit did a bad job. I just think that would have been a bit better to start things off and a bit more constructive in a way. So essentially, that's kind of how the whole thing went. Now, Bandit obviously did Bandit's job, right? He converted the traps into things, and he did the thing, right? People were very unhappy with Kermit's performance. They were saying he was playing like horrible, making all the wrong moves, packing all the wrong cards. It really wasn't good, right? Now, I have a couple of concerns about Kermit's strat he went for. One, he wasn't packing Quake, which is meta. Two, he wasn't packing Steel Ward with the PvE strat. Three, we also didn't see like any Banshees or like anything. I think we saw like a Wall of Blades, which like isn't really used hardly ever at all. So just a lot of like off meta things and not the actual things that happen in the game is what really caused a lot of players to be upset about, well, Kermit's performance and play, right? So, in my opinion, I think Kermit really, he could have done a better job trying to represent what the trap stacker does. So, he made two mistakes, in my opinion, in the match. The first one was obviously not packing Earthquake. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, Liam, why would you pack Earthquake with, well, trap stack, right? Now, Earthquake is really good because, well, it removes everything, right? Shields and blades. So on the off chance you get a weirdo in Live Realm, or I don't know, I guess in the test match they did, where they're set for trap stack and they make it into blades, Earthquake is a very good answer to that. So you can predict your traps getting turned into blades and then Quake everything away. So Bandit's going to dual blade a lot in Star Blade and then cover those blades with Kermit's traps, basically, right? Now, if Kermit quaked, he could have took away like probably 4 rounds of Bandit's blades and chipped him down with the quakes, right? Now, why this works is simply a numbers game, right? It's the copies. Bandit can only pack so many copies, right? You can have 4 scales, 4 naturalism, and like 4 centaur. Now, to my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he only had skills and naturalism in his deck. I don't think I saw a centaur or anything else for that matter. He had Banshee, but that's not a trap counter, right? So he had 8 counters, right? So if Kermit simply packed 2 or even 3 earthquakes, he would just completely destroy Bandit, right? Because you can pack infinite amounts of traps, basically way more like in your side, and then combine that with like the moose pet and main deck. If you just trap efficiently and well and smart, Bandit will run out of resources, and then Kermit can just keep doing it and nuke Bandit, right? While chipping Bandit down as well. So it would kind of look like this, right? Kermit traps, Bandit turns it into blades, Bandit blades a lot, right? Dual blade, tri blade, cover it, gets quaked by Kermit, chips him down probably like 2k or something, right? With a buffed quake, roughly, right? Okay. Then Bandit might, I don't know, blade again, right? Then Kermit traps again. Okay. Well, then Bandit blades again or turns the traps into blades, right? And then at that point, if Kermit counts the copies of scales and traps to blades, he'll know when Bandit runs out, right? Then he simply just has to quake off another set, and eventually Bandit's going to run to the point where he can't keep up and can't keep the tempo going forward because he's out of copies. But Kermit does not run out of copies because he has way more tri traps because he can pack many inside, many in main deck, and obviously the like the moose pet that gives like 3 copies too, right? So that's kind of how that would play out with Quake, right? It's just a numbers game, right? He blades like 4 turns, I Quake, it's all gone, I chip, I trap again, right? He blades again, I might Quake again. Okay, now he's out of copies, I just keep trapping, and then I nuke him and he's dead. Right? That's kind of how it plays out typically. Some trap stackers don't pack Quake, I'm aware of that, but if you pack Quake on a trap stack, that's what happens. Like the other player, the death in this case, literally can't do anything. So that's the first win conditioning that Kermit missed out on. The second one was very late game where they're both about to nuke each other with gambits, and then it just came down to a game of like, okay, like Steel Ward, right? If Kermit had a Steel Ward or packed it, which I don't think he did, to my understanding, it's just at that point it comes down to whoever wins the Steel Ward war, right? And again, with PvE players, they pack Steel Ward because obviously the amount of pressure is a lot, so you kind of have to shield like tower, and then you just obviously Steel Ward because it's a very good move, a lot of tempo, very powerful, right? So people were upset that Kermit wasn't packing that either. So in my opinion, that was the 2 big things that Kermit did wrong. I know a lot of people made fun of how he played and the moves he did in general. I don't think he played bad, in my opinion. You know, I just think he wasn't packing a couple meta things and wasn't he wasn't playing the long game like he should have been with the Quake example I listed. Right. So unfortunately, I think this whole thing, even though it was fun, I thought it was really funny. Like it made my day. It was hilarious how inaccurate it was. But that's besides the point, you know? I'm a little concerned because the developers are going to look at this and be like, oh, well, it clearly works out, you know? But it wasn't played accurately, you know? If Kermit actually quaked the way he was supposed to, there was no possible way Bandit could have kept up, right? Even with that one free turn Bandit gets after the quake, like, he gets like what, maybe like 2 or 3 free turns after 2 or 3 quakes? Like, maybe worst case scenario, Kermit's at like what, half health, and then Bandit gets nuked by a Gambit because he's out of copies and counters, you know? So I don't know, man. I just think it wasn't very accurate in my opinion, and I know a lot of people that have higher rank would share the same opinion on that. I don't think either player, you know, I don't think Kermit played bad. I don't think Bandit played bad. I think Kermit's just getting a lot of the heat because he wasn't packing a lot of the things that were, you know, deemed meta or going the proper way to actually counter that kind of strat Bandit had, right? So that's kind of my stance on it. I really like the concept. Like I said, I don't think people have the issue with the concept of the whole thing. I think there's more just the little things with Kermit not packing Quake and Steel Ward. Players thought it wasn't accurate. I can't talk right now. My bad. And that's why they were upset, right? The developers had a good time. Like I said, I thought it was funny. I had a good time, even though it was kind of inaccurate, which still isn't bad at the end of the day. I'm looking forward to seeing more of these in the future. The developers seem down for it as well. I wouldn't mind getting myself and like Sauce on there to obviously, you know, explain our moves a bit quicker and thoroughly to speed things up and stuff like that. And I wouldn't mind having like counter matchups, like, you know, Stormburst Death, explaining why that's bad, understanding it, and I don't know, even like neutral matchups. You could take like, I don't know, Storm and Myth and show why that's bad for Storm, yada yada, right? So I think, you know, this is a really good idea. I look forward to see more of it on KingStyle Live or Ratbeard stream, wherever it is. And yeah, I'm really curious to see what they do next. I know I already messaged like already about maybe getting onto the next one. That'd be pretty cool. Not sure what the topic would be, but I would like to see one with like a counter matchup or specific matchups in general. Excuse me. So I will see if I can maybe get that working. Again, no hate towards Kermit or Bandit. I think they both played to the best of their ability. And yeah, what did you guys think about this event? Did you see it? I'll probably link it in the description if you want to check it out. It was pretty cool. Like I said, it was kind of funny, but it was a pretty cool event. And yeah, I just really hope the next one can be a little bit more organized and you know, be a bit more accurate of how the meta actually plays out in live realm. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, y'all.